Welcome to our channel. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. One of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. The beginning is the most important part of the work. Democracy is a charming form of government, full of variety and disorder, and dispensing a sort of equality to equals and unequals alike. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. To be conquered by yourself is of all things most shameful and vile. We are twice armed if we fight with faith. Courage is knowing what not to fear. At the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet. For a man to conquer himself is the first and noblest of all victories. Human behavior flows from three main sources: desire, emotion, and knowledge. The empty vessel makes the loudest sound. Love is the joy of the good, the wonder of the wise, the amazement of the gods. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. The measure of a man is what he does with power. There are two things a person should never be angry at: what they can help and what they cannot. A hero is born among 100, a wise man is found among 1,000, but an accomplished one might not be found even among 100,000 men. Ignorance, the root and stem of all evil. Thinking, the talking of the soul with itself. Courage is a kind of salvation. This city is what it is because our citizens are what they are. Necessity, the mother of invention. Life must be lived as play. When men speak ill of thee, live so as nobody may believe them. Rhetoric is the art of ruling the minds of men. As the builders say, the larger stones do not lie well without the lesser. Wisdom alone is the science of other sciences. The man who makes everything upon himself and not upon other men has adopted the very best plan for living happily. This is the men of moderation, the men of manly character and of wisdom. Let parents bequeath to their children, not riches, but the spirit of reverence. There is no harm in repeating a good thing. The direction in which education starts a man will determine his future in life. To be sure I must, and therefore I may assume, that your silence gives consent. Justice means minding one's own business and not meddling with other men's concerns. Ignorance of all things is an evil neither terrible nor excessive, nor yet the greatest of all, but great cleverness and much learning, if they be accompanied by a bad training, are a much greater misfortune. He who steals a little, steals with the same wish as he who steals much, but with less power. Man, a being in search of meaning. For good nurture and education implant good constitutions. Whatever deceives men seems to produce a magical enchantment. The most virtuous are those who content themselves with being virtuous, without seeking to appear so. Knowledge without justice ought to be called cunning rather than wisdom. Apply yourself both now and in the next life. Without effort, you cannot be prosperous. Though the land be good, you cannot have an abundant crop without cultivation. All the gold which is under or upon the earth is not enough to give in exchange for virtue. We do not learn, and what we call learning is only a process of recollection. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master. Our object in the construction of the state is the greatest happiness of the whole, and not that of any one class. I never did anything worth doing by accident, nor did any of my inventions come by accident, they came by work. Excess generally causes reaction and produces a change in the opposite direction, whether it be in the seasons, or in individuals, or in governments. The blame is his who chooses, God is blameless. It is clear to everyone that astronomy at all events compels the soul to look upwards and draws it from the things of this world to the other. No man should bring children into the world who is unwilling to persevere to the end in their nature and education. Democracy passes into despotism. All things will be produced in superior quantity and quality, and with greater ease, when each man works at a single occupation, in accordance with his natural gifts, and at the right moment, without meddling with anything else. Knowledge is true opinion. The most important part of education is proper training in the nursery. To love rightly is to love what is orderly and beautiful in an educated and disciplined way. There must always remain something that is antagonistic to good. We ought to fly away from earth to heaven as quickly as we can, and to fly away is to become like God, as far as this is possible, and to become like Him is to become holy, just, and wise. No one knows whether death, which people fear to be the greatest evil, may not be the greatest good. One man cannot practice many arts with success. Knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold on the mind. No law or ordinance is mightier than understanding. The eyes of the soul of the multitudes are unable to endure the vision of the divine. Virtue is relative to the actions and ages of each of us in all that we do. We ought to esteem it of the greatest importance that the fictions which children first hear should be adapted in the most perfect manner to the promotion of virtue. Those who intend on becoming great should love neither themselves nor their own things, but only what is just, whether it happens to be done by themselves or others. The curse of me and my nation is that we always think things can be bettered by immediate action of some sort, any sort rather than no sort. It is a common saying, and in everybody's mouth, that life is but a sojourn. People are like dirt. They can either nourish you and help you grow as a person, or they can stunt your growth and make you wilt and die. Thanks for watching. Which quote did you enjoy the most? Please share your opinion in the comments and don't forget to subscribe.